Today we continue on with our NHL predictions to kick off the NHL 21-22 NHL season. Today we are doing 32 bold predictions for the 32 NHL teams around the NHL, and that's coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we're doing 32 predictions today since we have 32 NHL teams. We're going to basically on a lot of team, some of it's individual, just a variety of things I'm predicting we will see happen here throughout the NHL. We're talking about some trophies, who's going to win certain awards, who might be traded, what certain players and teams are going to accomplish, etc. So settle in and let's get started here as we go through all 32 of these. We're going to try to go through them fairly quick with not a lot of explanation, just so the video doesn't get too incredibly long. Prediction number one, this year's Calder race is going to be one of the best ones we've seen in recent memory. We're going to have Cole Caulfield, Trevor Zegras, and Spencer Knight likely being your three finalists for the Calder Trophy. All will come down to the wire. I'm predicting Spencer Knight will take over the number one job between the pipes in Florida, get a lot of games in, therefore get a lot of respect and votes and end up winning this award. But Caulfield and Zegras are going to give him a run for their money, and certainly going to be a very interesting rookie race here down the stretch as they all entertain us and keep us guessing on who is going to be the NHL's top rookie for 21-22. We will see at least two 50-goal scorers this year. We might even see one 60-goal scorer, and I'm predicting Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews both surpass 50 goals this year. I'm going to say Matthews actually might even hit 60, but that's going to depend on his health. We know he's going to miss the first 3 games of the season, and that could have an impact here. Obviously, Matthews is going to have to continue at a similar pace that we've seen, but essentially the last couple of years he's been on like a 50-plus goal pace, but because of the shortened seasons, we haven't actually seen him accomplish that officially on the record books here. But I think McDavid too, if you look at every year of Connor McDavid's career, his goal totals have increased every single year, and last year, even in a shortened season, he was not too far off from 50. So I'm going to say both these two NHL superstars crack 50 goals, and if Matthew stays healthy, he will indeed hit 60. Number 3, I'm predicting Jonathan Toews walks away with the Masterton Trophy. Of course, he was out all of last year, comes back this year. Hopefully, we'll have a good season. He may not necessarily play every single game, but certainly going to be a huge part of the Chicago Blackhawks organization. They really missed having their captain last year, and if there's anything like dedication to hockey, like this award is supposed to be all about, he's certainly demonstrated that after fighting hard to get his health in order to make the return this year. Prediction number 4. We see a team like the Columbus Blue Jackets not have a great season. They're going to struggle mightily, in my opinion. And we're going to see, before the NHL trade deadline, a couple more trades involving this team. Actually, it could even be maybe even more than 2. I'm going to predict at least 2. But you're looking at Max Domi and Patrick Laine, in my opinion. Both will move on from Columbus. I don't think that they're going to be in the long-term future plans. Domi's pretty much more of a given, but if Laine doesn't quite figure it out and the Jackets continue to struggle, he could actually bring them back a good return of future assets to continue to build around. I also think it's possible they move a goaltender, which we're going to get into here a little bit later, but Jonas Korpisalo, certainly another name to watch, but I think Columbus is going to be active in the trade market from early in the season right through to the end of the year, continuing to make changes as they go through this rebuild. Prediction number 5, the Calgary Flames are going to be another team that struggles, and we're going to see either Johnny Gaudreau or Sean Monahan, maybe even both, end up being traded. Obviously, Monahan is really, I think, in need of a fresh start. If he can get back to being a 30-goal scoring center iceman like he used to be, obviously a lot of that, though, was due to the fact playing with Gaudreau and his, setting up the ways and being more of the playmaker. But at the end of the day here, Monahan has to get better and get back to his old form for the Flames to really move forward. I know some people feel that they're really going to push forward and be in a top 3 spot in their division, make the playoffs. I'm not so sure that's going to happen. I think we could see more, frustration in Calgary and leading to a few trades and finally going to see that turnover within that core group. Prediction number 6, Johnny Gaudreau will go on to become next year's top free agent player in the UFA market. Regardless of what happens with Gaudreau, I do not see an extension in Calgary coming to terms before the end of the year. I do not see him signing with a new team either. It's very unlikely. I think Johnny Gaudreau wants to test the market, and I think as we end this season and go into next offseason, Gaudreau will be one of the biggest names out there looking for a new home, trying to cash in on a big new contract. Number 7, I'm going to give you my playoff teams I believe will make it for the Eastern Conference. I did do another video talking about who I thought was going to finish where, like the standings predictions. So your playoff teams in the East, in my opinion, will be from the Atlantic, the Lightning, the Panthers, the Leafs, and the Bruins. And from the Metropolitan Division, I've got the Islanders, the Canes, the Capitals, and the Rangers. Now, I didn't go 4-4 because I thought obviously it doesn't have to be that way. It could be 5-3. But I honestly think that's the way it's going to shake out. Prediction number 8, I'll give you the Western Conference playoff teams I feel will be the top teams. We're going to have Colorado, Winnipeg, Minnesota, St. Louis, and Dallas, all from the Central Division. I think it's a much stronger division, more teams in the playoffs. Whereas in the Pacific, we're going to see 3 teams, which I'm predicting are going to be Vegas, Edmonton, and Vancouver. So unfortunately, Seattle is not in there. Number 9, your first general manager fired throughout the season is going to be Calgary Flames GM Brad Treliving. He's been there for quite some time. They have not seen any sustained success, no playoff success. I thought this past offseason was a year he really needed to make change within that core group of players to shake things up. That did not happen. I know that doesn't mean he didn't try. Of course, it takes more than one team to make a trade. And just because he tried, it wasn't good enough, though. It didn't get done. We still have the same group of players. I'm not confident they're going to be able to bounce back. And I think his job could be on the line because of it. Prediction number 10, a Jack Eichel trade does happen, and it does happen relatively early into the NHL season. I'm not going to give an exact timeline, but early enough in the year that he can have his surgery and make it back before the end of the season. Right now, I'm predicting that the most likely destination for Jack Eichel will be for him to head west, probably to California. And I think right now, if I had to bet, I would say the Anaheim Ducks are the most likely landing spot, but that's really tough to nail down. That's what I'm going with for today, but that very well could change here as more information comes available. Number 11, the Seattle Kraken are going to have a good season, but they are going to struggle scoring, which is going to cause them to miss the playoffs. I do really think the Kraken are going to be close. I don't see them having the level of success that Vegas did right off the hop, but at the same time, none of us really saw the success in Vegas happening immediately either. When you have an expansion team with a group of players that never played together before, it's extremely difficult to make predictions around them. When you look at the roster, though, I think they have good goaltending. I think they'll be tough to play against. I think they'll defend well. Scoring, though, it's just hard to imagine how they'll win a lot of games without having more offensive players in that lineup. But a lot of these guys are going to get bigger opportunity than they normally have as well. So, look at Vegas, right? You didn't see William Karlsson breaking out the way he did, or even Marchessault and Smith, to a degree, they had a little bit of a pedigree behind them, but not nearly to the point that they brought out in Vegas, right? So ultimately, will Seattle get that same effect with some of their players? Maybe, but it's hard to predict that. It doesn't look that way, and I think it's going to be their downfall in season 1, but I think the GM there, Ron Francis, is very patient. He's going to build this team differently, and I think they're totally fine with the fact that playoffs may not actually come to be. Number 12, the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to be taking a step back, and I'm predicting the Penguins will not make the playoffs this year. And also, because of that, between Malkin and Letang, who are both pending unrestricted free agents, at least one of them will not be back next year. Now, we know that there's a possibility that ownership will be involved when it comes to those decisions. Wouldn't be shocking to find out that Sidney Crosby was also involved in their decisions whether or not Malkin or Letang will be re-signed. But at this point, we don't have any sense that there's going to be an extension ahead of time. It's probably going to be left to the end of the year. And if they don't have success, you have to think some kind of change would come, and at least one of those veteran guys will be moving on. But it's hard to imagine them not being with the Penguins. But I think it's time for change in that organization. Prediction number 13, I think we're going to only see a handful of coaches fired this year. I don't think it's going to be overly high, maybe even as low as 2 or 3. There's a lot of coaches that are relatively new, recently signed extension, or just don't really seem to have a ton of pressure on them. But I would say that the most likely ones here, in my opinion, that could get let go early if they don't have great starts, and to me, it's probably going to be Craig Berube in St. Louis. They've been taking steps back since they've won the Stanley Cup. We've seen Doug Armstrong make a lot of changes to the roster, and if things don't go well, it could be the coach that comes next. I know they have a good relationship and everything, but I have to think there's some pressure there for the team to do better. And the other one is going to be Alain Vigneault in Philadelphia. They've also went through a ton of changes, and I'm not convinced that they're going to get into the playoffs, so he very well could have his job on the line there as well. Number 14, I'm going to predict this is the final year of the Marc Bergevin era in Montreal as a general manager. I'm not going to completely rule out that he leaves the organization or that he maybe gets a different role, but at this point, they've been negotiating between he and Jeff Molson for an extended time, and they're right now they've announced that they're not talking about it any further until the end of the year. So that certainly increases the likelihood a lot that he does leave. At this point, it could be a variety of term and money that is the issue. Many believe he's looking to be one of the highest paid GMs from around the league. He's been there for like a decade. Probably earned that right, but at the same time, it seems like the Habs might be a little bit reluctant to do that. So I'm going to say that the odds are certainly going in the favor of him leaving. So this is the last year of Bergevin as GM of the Montreal Canadiens. Now, prediction number 15, we have the Edmonton Oilers will make a goalie trade somewhere early in the season before Christmas. They're not going to be completely getting the job done with Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen. I'm going to predict that it's likely going to be Korpisalo in Columbus, but it could be somebody else. Depending on what else transpires around the NHL, other goalies might become available, but I think they're going to find a better partner for Mike Smith and Koskinen. They'll find a way to move on from him. I'm going to say that the Koskinen experiment is going to continue to be an issue early on, and it's going to cost them some games, and they're not going to be wanting to take any chances. Like I said in the season previews, for the Oilers, the time to win is now. They need to see progress this year so that their top stars do not continue to be frustrated, and they get some confidence here going between the GM and the ownership and etc. to keep going in the same direction. But you don't want to risk losing too many more years of productive Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. You have to get them a backbone of the team to keep the puck out of the net. Prediction number 16. Keith Yandle, who's joined the Philadelphia Flyers, will break the Ironman record this year. I believe he needs 43 games to break that all-time record. He will be doing that just over halfway through this season, and will be, certainly something to cause for celebration. It's always nice to see, make all-time records, especially ones that are really difficult to break, be broken, and that's going to be one of the first ones we see this year. Actually, there is one more that we're going to talk about that could actually happen first. It's a little bit further down our list here. Number 17, the top general manager for the year at the end of the season will be Florida Panther GM Bill Zito. I think Zito's done a terrific job assembling that team. They really saw some major success last year. I think that's going to continue this year, and I think that he will be recognized as being the top general manager. They've done a tremendous job there, keeping everything, really nicely assembled. To have a hockey team that's very productive, very young, and very well balanced with a lot of scoring, some good blue liners, some good goaltending. Obviously, Bobrovsky's the only part there that's kind of questionable, but of course, Zito didn't sign that contract. That's not on him. Now, before we go further into this prediction video, I do want to pause for a quick moment and acknowledge one of our channel sponsors, Exter Smart Wallets. Top Shelf Hockey is proud to be sponsored by Exter. Forbes calls Exter the most successful smart wallet brand in the world. They certainly have high quality products, high grade leather. You can put all your cards in your wallet with RFID protection, and you can track it worldwide. That's the best part. You don't have to worry about losing your wallet and not being able to track it down. They have a great selection of products to choose from here, a variety of colors and styles, something to surely help for everyone. As you can see in the demonstration here for the product I have, this is a beautiful packaging, high quality. When you open it up, you get a high quality wallet with lots of slots for your cards. You have yourself a money clip if you want to carry cash on you here as well. And certainly, as you can see, the quality is outstanding. And here you can see the switch where you can help open up your cards. You just one little click and boom, everything fans out right in front of you. Easy to access. Your cards are protected. And here's the back where you have yet another slot. A terrific overall product, and I can't recommend these enough. Exter ships worldwide, and you can check out the link down below in the description as well as the pinned comment to buy yours today. So thanks very much for watching that promotional content. I do greatly appreciate it. On to prediction number 18. Tony DeAngelo, who signed with the Carolina Hurricanes after being basically expelled from the Rangers organization, will turn out to be one of the bargain contracts of the season, providing tons of offense and actually keeping his off-ice issues in check. I think DeAngelo is finally going to learn his lesson, behave himself, and be a very, very productive member of the Hurricanes, getting tremendous value in a one-year contract, which is likely going to lead to him not staying there for beyond the current season, because I think he's going to go and get another contract that's just going to be much more expensive and difficult for them to afford moving forward. Prediction number 19, the Toronto Maple Leafs will finally win a round of playoff hockey. I'm not going to predict that they're going to win the Stanley Cup, but they will make it past the first round this year, and I think I have them losing, in my predictions at least, in the conference final in the Eastern Conference. So that's, to me, I think they're finally going to break through at the right time, but they're not going to be able to go all the way. Prediction number 20, Tomas Hertl with the San Jose Sharks will remain to be one of the top players on the trade bait board as we approach the NHL trade deadline, and will be considered one of the top players acquired as a number 2 or a top 6 center for a lot of teams looking to make some nice added depth here ahead of the trade deadline for the playoffs. I really think a place like the Boston Bruins would be a perfect landing spot for him, if not some others as well, which takes us to prediction number 21, that if it's not Hertl, I do predict that the Bruins do indeed make a trade by the deadline for a top 6 center iceman. It very well could be Hertl, as I just mentioned. Makes a lot of sense that he would be a terrific fit there. But without David Krejci, they have Charlie Coyle. Unless they give more of a chance to Jack Studnicka, who's going to start the season not on the main roster, then to me, I thought that they would give him more of a chance. If he does get that opportunity to be able to take it over, maybe by the end of the year, they go in and then maybe they add like a smaller piece as some extra insurance. But otherwise, a bigger name like Hertl very well could be on their agenda here. Prediction number 22, the Arizona Coyotes will be the league's worst team this year. They are team tank. I have no doubt about it that they're certainly trying to be bad. They're trying to be last place. They're going for the draft lottery here, and hopefully for the right to be able to draft Shane Wright next summer. Prediction number 23 also involves the Arizona Coyotes, as we will get an announcement sometime during the season that the Arizona Coyotes will be relocating, at the very least on a temporary basis. As we know, they have no ability to stay in their current arena in Gila River beyond the current year. They have some plans that they're trying to put together to get an arena in Tempe. That might work out, but there is going to be, we're going to go through the entire season this year before they even have an idea if that's going to work. And then from there, a couple of additional years to build it if it does work out. At the very least, they do need to have a temporary relocation plan, and it's going to be interesting to see where they end up. Could it be a place like Houston or Kansas City? I know Houston's a team, or a city, I should say, that has been expressed interest before with Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta. Already has a spot there, and had talked to Gary Bettman in the NHL before about wanting a team. Even if it's temporary, it could be a chance for them to do that. I mean, I know the NHL is not keen on leaving, the Phoenix area, the fifth largest, which is the fifth largest, metropolitan area in the U.S. But Houston's the 4th, so it's actually a bit of an upgrade. As much as they don't want to leave there, they got to figure something out. And I think we'll see an announcement regarding relocation before the end of this year. Number 24, Marc-Andre Fleury will not stay past the current season in Chicago. I'm not 100% convinced that he'll actually be traded at the NHL trade deadline. I don't predict the Blackhawks to be a playoff team, so it is remotely possible, but personally, I think what's going to happen is he'll ride out the year in Chicago. Since he moved his family, I don't think he's going to be keen on being traded again, become a UFA next year, and I see a reunion taking place, possibly where he ends up going back to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Prediction number 25, there will be 2 Canadian teams make the Final Four in the NHL playoffs. So in the Western Conference and Eastern Conference finals will be 2 Canadian teams involved in those Final Four. Only one will make it to the Stanley Cup final, and that team will not be in the Eastern Conference. See if you can figure out who the 2 teams are. Who do you think I'm referring to? And which one do you think I'm saying is going to the finals? Put your comments down below, and I'll let you know if you're right based on what I'm thinking here. Prediction number 26, we are going to get another battle of Team Canada and Team USA in the Olympics for the gold medal championship. Wouldn't be surprising if Team USA gets the revenge this time and wins the gold medal here. They have a stacked team, as does Team Canada, but there are certain aspects of the American roster that I think are a little bit more solid, especially between the pipes. So I think that very well might be something we see as well. Prediction number 27, the Detroit Red Wings finally win a draft lottery. They're not going to be last in the league. I think they're probably going to be, I'm going to say maybe as high as 4th or 5th from the bottom. but they're going to win the lottery, in my opinion here. That's my prediction. And the Red Wings are actually going to be the team to be able to go after Shane Wright. Number 28, as I mentioned, there's another record coming up. We're going to see Alex Ovechkin break a record this year. Obviously not the goals record held by Wayne Gretzky, the all-time goals, but he is going to likely break a power play goal all-time record currently held by Dave Andreychuk. I believe he only needs 6 of those, and that's not going to take him too long. That should happen relatively early in the season. Prediction number 29, this one's not overly bold at all, but Connor McDavid will be your Art Ross Trophy winner. Nathan MacKinnon and Leon Draisaitl will be your runners-up. Prediction number 30, Patrice Bergeron in Boston will not sign a new deal, and he will become an unrestricted free agent. I'm not suggesting that he's going to leave Boston. I'm just suggesting that we're not going to see an extension before the end of the season, and he's at least going to test the market and see what else might be available. Ultimately, I think he will end up back there, but that's a little bit further out. Right now, I'm just predicting that he takes it as far as becoming an actual free agent. Prediction number 31, the next general manager opening, once we have an opportunity for a new GM to be hired, it will be former Rangers GM Jeff Gorton. He's doing some media work now, so he's staying top of mind. I think he did a really good job in New York, and to be honest, I think a lot of what happened there was a major overreaction at the ownership level, and I think he will be getting another opportunity in the not too distant future. And last but not least, prediction number 32, your Norris Trophy winner will be newly signed $9 billion man in New Jersey, Dougie Hamilton. He's going to have a tremendous season. I'm predicting he's staying healthy, going to feed all kinds of great passes to those young forwards that have so much talent like Hughes and Hischier, etc. Plus, he can score himself on the power play, and Dougie Hamilton will have himself one heck of a year and get himself his first Norris Trophy. So those are my 32 predictions based on having 32 NHL teams for the upcoming 21-22 season. Let me know what your thoughts are. Feel free to tell me what your thoughts are of mine. I will not be offended if you disagree with any of them at all. Of course, this is only for fun. I'm probably going to get a lot of these wrong. It's totally fine. But let me know what yours are. We can discuss and we can look back on this later for fun to see how we all made out. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the latest news, rumors, and analysis on all 32 NHL teams. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.